It's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
It's a podcast. We're back.
It's a podcast of the Mankheads variety.
Yeah.
I think that was you.
Did I say that? Oh.
Yeah.
It's the season finale.
It's the season finale.
Season 2 finale of the Mankheads podcast.
This is it. We're going on hiatus after this.
We are.
Indefinitely.
Indefinite hiatus, yeah. I'm going to be like a...
Fallout Boy.
I
don't
was
know.
like, every band that goes on like an indefinite hiatus. Yeah.
Like on a 9-year hiatus or some shit.
Yeah, some shit. Radiohead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make another album with Johnny Greenwood, and just not call it a Radiohead album.
Someone who like hasn't made music in like 20 years or something. It's like if you go on their Wikipedia, it's like it says hiatus, but it's like I don't think they're coming.
Their ass is retired.
So welcome back to the Mankheads podcast.
Welcome back. Much has happened in the last time you've heard from us.
Yes.
Including graduation. I graduated.
He graduated.
I did.
This is Diego, by the way.
Oh, I'm Diego, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Emma, by the way.
Diego graduated.
Yes, and Emma also graduated a year ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So nothing special though for you. No congratulations. You've already had your fill.
Okay. It's fine.
Okay. Hot takes.
Hot takes. Wait, I actually have to look mine up.
Okay. I'll go with mine then, because I just thought of it right now. My hot take is Berlin isn't that cool of a city.
You're just jealous because you're not there.
I am. We have a few friends of ours that are in Europe, and like 2 separate groups like went to like Europe, and they like met up in Berlin, and I was like, oh, it's whatever. I don't care. It's not that cool of a city, you know.
Whatever.
I don't give a shit. What's your hot take?
My hot take is that Lay's Ruffles, there's like 2 very specific like settings for those to be eaten in, and none other, like no others. Lay's Ruffles are for the beach.
Okay.
And they're for like a party, like a birthday party or something.
Yeah, no, you're right. A pool party.
And or a pool party. Perfect,
some sort
perfect
of
example.
Like, some sort of party like that.
Yeah, kids running around like
all their wet fingers reaching into
making
the
them
Lay's
all
chips.
soggy, dripping in there.
The Ruffles, yeah.
Or like it mixing with sand, and you get a little bit of grit in your bite. You're with your French onion dip, Lay's French onion dip, and Ruffles. That is like my family's like that is what we get when we are going to the beach. It's like, well, yeah, make a ham sandwich, and we'll bring the Ruffles and the French onion dip. Okay. I
think I have like vivid memories of like the chlorine infused slices of like Pizza Hut pizza, you know, where it's like hell yeah, or maybe like even like little Caesar, I don't know, it doesn't matter, like fast food pizza, you just like grab a slice and you're like hell yeah, your hands are all greasy and it's like chlorine infused in the crust and you're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Pretty gross, but beloved.
But that's like those are up on a pedestal, but they're only for those times. Okay.
Yeah.
Feel very strongly about that.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I was just like chilling on the couch,
like sit on the couch and eat a bag of Lay's Ruffles.
I'm not doing that. If I want a chip, I'm gonna be eating like I don't know, corn chips and salsa, Doritos or something like that.
Yeah, tortilla chips and salsa is a big one in this house.
Exactly. Yeah, we go through the HEB Pico de Gallo like no one's business.
Nobody's business.
We house that shit. Okay.
So graduation. It's a Kanye West album.
It is we're gonna review the whole album right now, song by song. Starting with no, we're not doing that.
It's a time in our lives.
It's a time in our lives.
And here we are.
Yeah. It's like on the brain. It was like it happened like I guess maybe like 2 weeks ago by this point, but like it was like last year and this year, like just because we know so many people that are graduating and like it was also like last year especially was the first one coming off of like COVID and stuff, so things were opening up and it actually felt like you could actually like celebrate and stuff as opposed to like when my sister graduated, it was in 2021. 2021.
Totally virtual graduation. They offered
2020.
It was virtual, like the actual thing, like it was like they put your name up on the television and you were like, and like that was it. And you could like wear your robes at your house if you wanted to. They also they chose to like do a ceremony later, like a big one for that class, but it was like, who the fuck, like the moment has passed.
I also remember it vividly because they didn't have it, they held it on the fucking like South Mall, and they put a bunch of chairs on like the little like I don't know, that like plaza right in front of the main building. I guess for those of you that don't know it, or like I don't know who's on here that isn't like in like Basin Austin or whatever, but
Hook'em Horns, right?
Horns, yeah. But at UT, they have the big like famous like tower, and there's like a big plaza in front of it, and beneath that there's a big lawn called the South Mall, and there's a view of like the Capitol and stuff. It's all very like, you know,
George Washington statue
and stuff. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
I guess he's there too. Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
What did he do again?
Some Joe Schmo. But that's usually like a very wide open space, and you know, like people will take the graduation pictures and stuff there, and there's a lot of like traffic going on there, like
lots
between
of foot
classes.
Traffic.
And I was walking through there for like a week when I was trying to go to classes and stuff. I'd walk through there and I just couldn't go through at all. I'd have to like take like an alternate route because they were setting up so many goddamn like foldable lawn chairs to have this like big like postponed graduation thing, and I was like, this is insane. I don't know who's going to this. I guess enough people would, but like still I was like, bizarre.
Yeah, my graduation last year was it was like the first kind of post-COVID graduation where like we were like, oh, things are like, we can have a graduation ceremony and have people there again, but I think it was just like time and place, like circumstance for my particular college last year. I graduated from Moody, the College of Communications at UT, and they put us in the Alumni Center. I don't think they had ever done a graduation there.
Which is a small building.
It's not a large building. If you know anything about the Alumni Center, you know that it's like not a large space.
It looks like a big-ish house.
Yeah.
You know?
It does kind of look like a house, honestly, like a modern like one-story house. Yeah. That's like a little bit sprawling. There's different rooms and like courtyard and stuff, but like it's not
big enough to house an entire.
It's not an auditorium like by any means. And what they had us do was just like snake around in this line out in the Texas fucking heat for like 2 hours in our robes and stuff before we even got there. And they weren't good about communicating that there was actually a little bit of seating inside, but it was like fucking 50 chairs or something. So it's like grandma could have gone and sat like inside, not my grandma, someone else's grandma that was actually there. But instead they had little old ladies like passing out in the heat. Like I remember like seeing more than one like ambulance. And then they were selling us water.
Selling you water?
For a while there. At some point they started giving us like free cups, but I remember at first my mom like and dad like bought bottles of water, and it's just like, guys, this is fucked. Have we not already like paid you so much just to be here? Also, I can't get over like, so that was like not great, and they just like, I was rushed across the stage, and like that was it. That was my big moment, I guess. We didn't have a commencement speaker, whatever. We got literally, Moody had Glenn Powell this year. Yeah,
Sydney Sweeney's Glenn Powell.
Yeah. Oh my god, actually, did I tell you about what he did?
No.
He literally had to go to your graduation.
Did he really? Oh.
I already told you that joke like day of.
I get really excited about these things.
Oh my god, really? No, I thought it'd be really funny if people like heckled him and were like, "Where's Sydney?" Or like, I don't know, whatever. Homewrecker, I don't know.
Homewrecker.
But I will, and so the reason that they had him was because he actually did go to UT for like 1 year.
He didn't graduate.
He did not graduate, and he was a RTF student in the Moody College of Communications, and he did the UTLA program and like went to LA, and I feel like that's probably why he ended up just deciding to stay in LA.
And dropping
that
out.
Wasn't like part of the story, but I'm like, yeah, that's definitely it, because he like he joked about himself like not actually being a graduate. But one thing I will say, I gotta give it to you, Glenn. You gave a good speech. It was good. It was inspiring. It was kind of hokey, but it was just the right amount. Like it was good. You did good.
We had for my graduation. I'll go in a little bit like the one that I had for like the main college. So like, the College of Liberal Arts, from which I graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts in English. We had like separate like graduation.
Sorry. I just like
award-winning writer Diego Diaz. Nice to meet you, folks. We had like separate. Okay, the College of Liberal Arts is so goddamn big, and there's so many like stupid fucking majors in that college that they have to like break it up. And so like, me like English and history had like their like joint graduation with like you know these like in like but it was in like an auditorium, and it was not a lot of people that needed to graduate, and it was in the Bass Auditorium, which is like in like the the music school.
Yes.
It's a big like a concert hall. It looks really
That's a
fucking
nice place to graduate.
It was a nice place to graduate. But there were like, I don't know, like 300 people that graduated.
Okay.
In like that little like group. And so it was like, we did not need all of this. But thanks though, it was cool.
Think so?
Yeah, and one of the funniest things is like the whole like it wasn't the keynote. It wasn't the keynote speaker that was saying this. It was one of the like the chair of the English department. He just kept having to say it. Like it felt like his speech was just reminding us that like our degree is valuable. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, man.
Dude.
Like I didn't really think that it wasn't until you kept trying to beat me over the head and saying like, no, I swear it's valuable.
You can use this later.
You can use
I promise.
this. I swear. People, you can do a lot of stuff with this. I'm like, I knew that, but like, why do you have to? Thanks, man. Like, no, I swear. Like, hey, man, you look really good today. You look really good. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
No, like your hair's fine. Like, I don't even worry about it.
What? Now I'm like, does my hair not look fine? Is my degree that worthless? Yeah, it was fine.
That's wild though. Like you're not doing your job well.
No, it was funny. That guy's like one of my favorite like professors that I've had. He's like a great guy, but like he's just he's like one of the most like unintentionally funny guys in the world. But I love that guy. Like he was a great professor. He was like the professor for like the English honors thing that I was a part of, and like all my cohort, we like really loved him.
Nice.
Shout out to Dr. Martin Kevorkian. Well.
True.
But the keynote speaker at my graduation, like the university-wide, UT
the
also
big
breaks
commencement.
It up. The commencement thing. UT breaks it up into like their separate colleges, as most like schools do, I guess, or bigger schools, and they have like a big university-wide commencement that they host at the football stadium.
Yes. And I didn't even bother to go to my own, I'll be honest. And I do think that is because I had a shitty, like, college graduation. So I was just like, I'm not going to go to the big thing because I already had to stand in the heat for so long. And, like, I just don't want to do it. I don't really regret. I've been saying this whole time I don't regret. I'm like, maybe I regret it a little bit, but I don't know.
I don't
think I missed that much.
I don't regret going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like...
I don't think I would regret going if I had gone.
Yeah,
But I don't regret not going either.
I definitely told my family, don't go to this one because it's good. You already saw me walk the stage,
That was the thing.
That was the thing. Yeah, you're just going to be sitting out in the heat, hot as all hell, like, and...
You know what? That commencement happened whether I was there or not. So they said that I got my degree, so I got it.
But the keynote for the university-wide commencement this year was... a guy named...
I already forgot his... I immediately forgot his name.
Hayes Barnard. Who did not...
never heard of him? Yeah,
never heard of him? Who did not go to UT.
Is not from Texas.
Is not from Texas. Just recently moved to Austin.
Is a billionaire.
Is worth $3.7 billion.
My mouth, like, fully touched. I went...
Oh! Chomp. Dude's worth a lot of money. I'm like 90% sure that he caused the financial crisis in 2008.
Yeah, he just said some things that like kind of alluded to that. Like he said it without saying it.
He was talking about like I guess he like grew up like middle class, like a single mom, and like a lot of his story was like very like bootstraps pilled,
Yeah. Oh, like, no, but
very
for
much,
sure.
Yeah.
His speech opened with like, "My mother is my hero." Whatever. Yeah. She was a single mother. And
Well, the first thing that comes up when I look up Hayes Barnard.
Love his rags to riches story for him, but also he fucked the whole country.
One of the first things that comes up is Hayes Barnard, founder and CEO of Good Leap 2023 UT commencement keynote from.
That was an insane publicity thing for him. I'm not sure what it did for the graduating class this year.
At some point, I leaned over to a friend of mine. I was like, "This is just a big commercial. This is just a big ad.
Yeah,
fuck this guy." But also, I love that guy. He was so fucking funny. Like,
it was funny.
It was really funny. Like, not like he wasn't funny. It was just but like it was really funny.
The situation was funny.
He was there.
Yeah, and he literally, his mom was there, and he pulled her up on the stage, and they were like crying and throwing up hook'em, and I'm just like, you are not from here. You did not go here.
You did not go here. But I was also like, fuck it, hook'em, yeah, baby,
wow.
yeah, tossed my hat, did a shooter that I almost puked on because it was all warm and stuff.
That's disgusting. You went halvesies on a shooter.
I went halvesies on a shooter with my friend, and it was just in her like boot for the entirety of the commencement ceremony. Oh. It was just warm and gross and
Texas graduation filled.
Anyways, okay. So that's our stories of graduation.
So that's our stories of graduation. Without further ado, we're gonna just talk about some movies and media that captures the vibe.
Captures the vibe, yeah. Things that like, I guess kind of like our like experiences. Mine just entering like adulthood, I guess. Post college, and then Parker's arrived.
One Parker Howard,
fellow graduate, Parker Howard. Hey man.
So yeah, we're gonna talk some movies and media that capture the vibe, and we've actually been watching some of them recently.
Yeah, some of them rewatches, some of them fresh watches.
Yes.
For like either or like both of us.
Yeah. We've been on a good movie watching vibe lately. It's been nice.
I'm very like happy with it because I had the entirety of this year I'd been like absent from watching movies at home and at the movie theater and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm getting into it. Last night we just watched Memories of Murder.
I had a big movie watching grind right there in like October. I think that was like after Beto personally fired me. That I just sat on the couch and watched movies for like 2 weeks straight. So that was a good little bout for me. And I actually have been making it to the movie theater, but I've been wanting to like have this vibe, and so it's been nice to have us all just like chilling and watching movies. Yeah, we watched Memories of Murder last night.
We also watched. What did we watch?
We watched Infernal Affairs. We watched some movies that we're going to talk about.
I'll slap it on first. I think one of the first things that I think about with like graduation movies is Noah Baumbach's Kicking and Screaming. Not the one about soccer.
Not that one. Not the one with Will Ferrell.
No. No, the one with Parker Posey and a bunch of other people that I forget their names.
I couldn't tell you a single other person's name, but you might recognize their faces.
Yeah.
I had never seen it before.
I had seen it a handful of times. It's one of those movies that I watched freshman year of college, maybe even like senior year of high school or something like that. And I was like, that was good enough, whatever.
Hangout movie, cool.
Yeah, hangout movie, it's fine. Big ensemble cast. It was fun enough, I was like, all right, cool. Watch it again. A year or two ago, I found the Criterion DVD at half price books. I was like, oh shit, awesome.
Sick find.
Slapped it in, and I was like, all right, that was like really good. I dig it now. And like with every watch, it's become more and more like a favorite movie of mine. It's like a fine movie. Like there's like, it's honestly like pretty mid.
There's some things I don't like about it.
No, yeah, I mean like it's same thing. Like objectively, like I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's honestly like a pretty like middling movie.
It's a movie,
but I'm like, man, I fucking love this movie, dude.
The relationships in it are good, and like the dialogue is pretty funny.
It's so fucking quotable, dude. Like
first
thing I have like in this doc that I've like prepared a little bit is like the first like just to like get the ball rolling was, oh, I've been to Prague.
Yeah,
which is one of the best lines in that movie. There's also another one. It's like there's food in my beer.
There's food in my beer. Yeah.
Send it back. No, I don't want to upset her. I don't want to make her mad. I feel like she's had a hard day and she might just like take it out of me. I like this better. I like it. Yeah. I mean, essentially it's about like this group of like friends that graduate graduate college.
Yeah.
From their like liberal arts college, and then all of them are trying to like escape, or they can't quite escape the inertia of their college community.
Yeah, and they keep falling back into their old patterns with their old friends.
Yeah, just hanging around at the same bar. Just
I'll set Backlot next year.
No, that place is awesome.
We love Backlot.
But none of them wants to like move on with their lives, but at the same time they don't want to end up like Chet, who is like been in school for like 10 years and everyone's just like kind of like weirded out by him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I watched it the first night with you guys, and then I like feel like I just wasn't really there when we were watching it. Like I wasn't paying attention, so I watched
just on as background noise.
Yeah, so I watched it again the next night, and I enjoyed it a lot more, obviously, because I actually like paid attention to it. Especially that opening sequence at the graduation party is just great.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Like after like the commencement ceremony, Parker and I were just like sitting like around the house waiting for people to get home and waiting for like what the plan was to go out, which was so fucking stressful in its own right. Just because like trying to figure out like who's going with who, where are we gonna meet up, you know, where are we going, what's the plan, you know, and it was just like, oh, and we're just like,
oh, it's already 1 a.m.
Yeah, we didn't get out to the bars until like 1 a.m. God.
A hell of a time though, hell of a night.
A hell of a night, yeah. But me and Parker were just sitting around, and we had like 2 beers, just like sitting around in our like nice clothes and stuff. We're like, it's kind of like the beginning of Kicking and Screaming. Oh, I've been to Prague. Yeah. And yeah, especially because like a lot of our friends, like I said at the beginning of the episode, are like just went to Europe and like are often like, you know, these like vacations and stuff. It feels like we have like Austin to ourselves almost.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, it's kind of a sleepy town when no one else is around.
The world is ours. I feel like that vibe in Kicking and Screaming of them like not being able to escape those patterns was something not that I'm like feel like I need to escape something, but it's something I felt this year being graduated but like hanging around a lot of people who are still in school. Also
living like 5 blocks from the university.
Yeah, and still living so close to campus. Like I very much like still felt like I was in the college vibe, and it's there's been friction with my like need to like move on and like grow up and like do real things and like figure out what I'm doing with my life, which is a whole other enchilada that we don't have to get into.
Yeah, I mean like for me, the way I kind of like grapple with that is like you know, I may be like working like away from the city, like in the suburbs or something like that, but also it's like I'd rather just like stay in the city, like in the city like center, and eat the commute up there than like have to move out to the suburbs at this point in my life.
I like being around
things you know?
That are happening, and even if I'm kind of a homebody, which, you know, like is fine. It's just like I don't want to feel so far away because I already
you want to not have the option.
Yeah, you know, I have already been feeling like isolated, just being in this weird spot in my life and like not knowing like where to go or what to do. So like if I went farther out, I don't think that would get better at all.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's always a weird like push and pull of like wanting to like retain the things that have felt like, you know, like important to you for such a long time, and also wanting to like move on with your life and get your shit together, you know.
I'm also just trying to like make myself be more comfortable with the fact that I don't know what I'm doing, and it's like that's fine. Like I have time to figure it out. I'm only 23, so it's fine.
I had the same conversation with someone last night too. I was like god damn, we're like really young. Like I think about like people like, you know, starting jobs and moving away and stuff, and I'm gonna be like staying in Austin or whatever, and I'm like, oh no, what if I like don't get to like experience the world until like 5 years from now? I'm like 5 years from now I'll be 27 and I'll still be really fucking young.
You'll still be young, like
you know, and I'm like, geez, all right,
like we have so much time, but also like I don't want to take the time that I have for granted and be like not doing anything. You know. So that's been a big thing for me, is like being okay with the fact that I'm like not sure what I'm doing, but also like I'm wanting to feel like I'm working towards something. Which Subletter has been super helpful with. Doing this has been helpful with too. It's just like these are things that I am working on, even if I feel like on a larger scale, I don't know, like what I'm doing.
I mean that's how I feel too. Like even like with like the job that I got recently, I don't think it's gonna be like the kind of thing that I'm like on a career towards.
It's not an
it doesn't need to be a career for me right now.
It's something to do for a couple of years.
Yeah, until I figure out what it is I really want to do. If it is continuing this job, then like awesome, perfect, you know.
Cool.
If it's something else, then, you know, I could work for a while and I don't know, like save up some money, and then, you know, go to grad school, or like, you know,
I was about to mention grad school,
or take a trip abroad or something, you know. I don't know.
I'm interested in grad school. I think I used to be more sure that I wanted to do that, and now I'm like, I want to see what else I can do. And I never thought that I should go straight to grad school, and pretty much everyone I talked to advised me not to do that. It
was always one of those things for me that I felt was just the next thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to do it. But now I'm like, I don't know. That's a terrible like reason to go to grad school.
I'm not just gonna spend all that money unless I have like something I'm doing with it.
So that was Kicking and Screaming. Not much about the movie, but just more about how it makes us feel, or like makes us think about that kind of thing. Which I think is going to be more of like this episode along the lines of not necessarily about the stuff, but like how we like perceive it and like what we like see in those movies in ourselves. You know.
I think the thing I disliked the most about that movie was the like focus on the relationship with Jane. I kind of didn't love the flashbacks and stuff. They were just like corny and idealized and like, oh, I don't know, like very like college boy looking back on his college relationship, which is like what it is. Like
the one of the best things about that whole thing though is at the end, spoilers, when he has this whole thing where he's like, you know, that like triumphant, I'm gonna go get on the plane and fly to Prague and be with her, and then the thing that stops him is just he just forgot his passport.
Yeah.
And it's just that kind of shit, you know?
It's that simple, yeah.
It's just that simple, you know? And then it's like, it's an easy thing. And he even says to like the flight, like the like flight agent, she says like, you can come back tomorrow and get a flight to Prague. He's like, no, it's either...
The feeling passed, the moment passed.
Yeah, it had to be today or not. It's like romantic, but also like...
His grand romantic gesture is kind of a little empty. Like
it is.
If it wasn't strong enough to be like, oh, I will do anything to make this happen.
Yeah, it's like, but I think
he wasn't willing to work hard enough to keep her in the first place. That's why she went to Prague.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting like depiction of that, and I want to believe that it's like. I mean, it has to be like intentional and self-aware, you know, because you don't like just do that and just not understand like what the fuck you're doing, you know,
yeah,
when, like in creating that character and that like that development and that conclusion, you know.
Yeah, I think you know what you're saying about that character when you say that, even though I'm like that character is almost undoubtedly like some version of Noah Baumbach, right?
Oh, probably.
Yeah, I think that.
I mean, it's like
one of those guys in the ensemble was, and I feel like it was him. He was like the main character,
them, you know,
or all of them, or some. Yeah.
I mean, the main character was a writer, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was like the main cast of characters is like a writer, a philosophy major, a mechanical engineer at like Vassar or something like that. Like who's going to Vassar for mechanical engineering?
Like what?
And then I don't know what Skippy did, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't think Skippy knows what Skippy did.
No, Skippy's awesome.
This guy Skippy rules.
Okay, next movie.
So do we want to go on to the other Noah Baumbach or circle back around to him?
Let's do it.
Frances Ha.
Frances Ha.
We just watched that last week. I think.
Yeah.
That was my second time seeing it.
Mine as well. Another one that I watched. Probably the wrong time. I watched it. I was like probably getting in like a senior high school or freshman college.
I for sure watched it. I think it was maybe my freshman or sophomore year of college that I watched it, and I didn't like hate it or anything. I just I didn't love it either.
Same.
It certainly resonates with me a lot more now that I am graduated.
No.
And am feeling just as aimless as Frances.
I think this one. I think this film like really like hones in on the aimlessness.
Mm-hmm. Aimlessness. Yes, aimlessness.
That word. Than kicking and screaming. It's our dryer.
Yeah. Anyway, Frances Ha, starring Greta Gerwig. Now Noah Baumbach's wife. Were they together then, or?
I don't know.
He used to be married to actress Jennifer Jason Leigh, and that's what their divorce is. What Marriage Story is about. Which is very funny to me. I don't know. It's just like because two people who I had heard of and like know who they are, who I had no idea. Their relationship came and went, and I didn't know until like this movie came out, where it's just like, look at how messy our divorce was.
Dude, that guy just should not be married.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, listen, and like the Squid and the Whale, it's not like, I don't know, that was never a good, a good portrayal of marriage.
Yeah, which we also recently rewatched, but anyway. I didn't. Okay, me and Parker did, sorry.
Rat bastards.
Rat bastards.
I love that
Anyway,
movie.
Frances Ha. That's one of the few movies, like, I think, contemporary-ish movies that can get away with being in black and white. Because I think it just does it well, like, and it fits, like, the mood of the movie to me. I guess few people are bold enough to try to do that, like, now, too.
What do you mean?
Like just making a movie black and white.
Oh.
I can think of like, okay, Cold War.
Roma.
Those
fit, I guess, more for me because they're like, well, especially Roma because it's like a nostalgic kind of look at like the woman that pretty much raised Cuarón.
Yeah, right. There was something else I was thinking of that what is the The Kenneth Branagh one from last year.
Belfast.
Belfast. Gorgeous. Another nostalgic look.
Yeah.
So this one isn't nostalgic at all, but like homegirl's going through it. Like,
I forgot.
She's not having a good time.
Speaking on nostalgia, there's another great quote from Kicking and Screaming, and it's Max at some point says, "I'm nostalgic for conversations I had yesterday." And I'm like, damn.
Shit. Oh, you know what? Someone said something that I wrote down in that movie.
This is now the Kicking and Screaming episode.
I swear I wrote it down because I was like, this.
I'll talk a little bit about Frances Ha in the meantime. Yeah, I mean, like that movie, it's like, for me, it really hit a lot of like we're talking about the aimlessness of that kind of stuff. And like, I don't know, there was a big like focus on like money as well, you know, with like that kind of thing, like trying to like figure out how you're gonna like be able to like make your living while also trying to like, you know, do what you want to do, you know. And I was like, yeah, true.
True.
It felt like a lot more like
just trying to find a base level of like contentedness.
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah, and like dealing with like
chore.
and also dealing with like people changing as well,
changing
like
relationships.
The core like dynamic in the movie is Greta Gerwig's character Frances and her like BFF and her roommate.
Yeah. Another thing where it's like they're stuck in their like ways from college, and eventually they're gonna grow and change, and it's not gonna be the same. Yeah.
And Frances definitely like is the one like stuck in her ways for most of the movie, and like develops like a resentment for her friend for, you know, getting into like a serious relationship with this guy and eventually like moving out with him and like leaving her with like
when she had not moved in with her boyfriend because she was supposed to be living with her friend, and then her friend did that exact thing to her. Which is like, maybe you should have talked with your friend about that before you made that decision. Yeah. Though, like I think a big thing that I saw about their relationship was just like their inability to like tell each other how they really felt about stuff. Okay, so in Kicking and Screaming, Max at some point says, it's always Max, he's always waxing poetic. He says, you know, I find myself writing wake up and go to sleep in my day book as if they're two separate events.
Yeah. Dude, I'm saying, like, there's just some like great fucking lines in it, like just great one-liners in that movie.
Also, there's like a random poster in the back of that movie that says Cookie Man pro-life.
Yeah.
I just like want to know the context of that. There's no fucking context. They look at it and they're like, see, like something's going on here.
See, I'm like, I told you something's going on.
What are they talking about? What is that?
It's anyway. Like a throwaway line, too. It's like, what?
It is. It's so throwaway. It's like, what even? It has nothing to do with the plot.
No.
Anyway, but Frances Ha was like, I really appreciated it a lot more on the second watch. Yeah. And from my perspective now, I think I had about that movie and just Greta Gerwig in general is that like I find her very off-putting as an actress. I think what I'm realizing that it is that she's just like really awkward. Yeah. And where before I found it like off-putting, I think I was maybe a little bit off-put by it because it's like I don't like it when I feel like awkward and like I don't know, or like I'm not saying the right thing. And I was able to just like relate to it and laugh at it a lot more this time and like not take that part of it so seriously because she's so like, her character is so like, she just says the wrong thing.
She's
like,
just the weirdest shit.
She's weird. But like in a really lovable, like endearing way. Yeah. Undateable. Yeah. It's a running thing throughout. She's like, I'm undateable. Like,
yeah. What's the dude's name? Actor. I don't know. I've seen him in other shit.
The dude who she kind of has a thing with.
Yeah. The dude that she's endgame with. In my head canon.
No, they're same. Like I'm like, no, they're meant to be. Yeah. Why can't I remember either?
Frances Ha cast. Michael Zegan. Benji. He's in Miss Maisel, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. He's the husband in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah. Yeah. Good movie. I like it a lot. And then, yeah, once we watched that after...
Adam Driver as well.
Adam Driver's in there, yeah. Adam Driver from Girls.
We got one of... isn't that... Am I making that up? One of Meryl Streep's daughters is, like, in it also.
I don't know.
Randomly. She is. Sure. Grace Gummer. Oh. Anyway.
True. Yeah, after watching that movie and then like Kicking and Screaming like a couple days before, I was like, oh man, do I really love this guy's movies?
Shit.
Fuck.
They definitely don't resonate with me as much because they're often from a male perspective. But Frances Ha is one of the ones that's not, and I really fucked with it.
Yeah.
It has that same feeling of his movies, though. Like, you're just watching people live.
Yeah.
Like, and be themselves, whether it's funny or not, or, like, appealing or not, or, like, interesting or not. Like, sometimes they're just, like, there. You're like, okay.
Noah Baumbach is attached to the Barbie movie coming up in some capacity. I don't know exactly why, but I looked up Noah Baumbach movies, and...
I think maybe he helped write it or something. I mean, like, Greta's directing.
Yeah.
So... maybe he produced or something.
Oh, yeah. They co-wrote it.
There you go.
Power couple.
I know, he's written other stuff that it was like, he wrote what?
Yeah, wait, there was like...
Right? There's something random that it was like a kid's movie or some shit, right?
Ah, fuck.
Which, you know what? I didn't know what he looked like until right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. He was in King and Screaming. He was the dipshit that was asking if you would rather, like, fuck a cow or fuck your mother.
I don't remember that part.
Oh, it was just some dipshit on the stairs of one of the dorms. And
Director cameo.
He asked Skippy, like, would you rather fuck a cow or fuck your mother? And he's like, what are you talking about?
What? Writer on Madagascar 3.
Yeah,
I knew it was something random. Like, random.
Him and Ben Stiller, they're buddies.
They're pals.
They're besties.
Okay, so speaking of Ben Stiller, actually, that can segue us into our next movie.
Watch this.
We recently watched a film called Reality Bites. It stars Ethan Hawke, Winona Ryder, Jenny Garofalo, someone else, other people. Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Directed by Ben Stiller.
Directed by Ben Stiller. Written by someone, like a woman from Texas, and it's set in Houston.
Yeah.
And it's
which is an interesting thing I did not know about the movie.
Yeah, same. Going in, I even though I want to say I watched that at some point in high school, I clearly like forgot the entire plot. I didn't remember anything that happened in it. That is definitely one of those movies that like Tumblr told me to watch in 2014 or something. But
it is very like I feel like just everything about Winona Ryder's character is very like Tumblr pilled.
Yeah, yeah. It was particularly relatable on the part. Just for being like Texan, like being set in Texas and having Texan characters. I mean, we know like Ethan Hawke is from Texas.
Yeah.
Renee Zellweger cameo. She's also from Texas, and UT is her alma mater. And my camera just cut out.
We're back. What were we talking about?
Reality Bites. I was just saying that like it was particularly relatable because it's about Texans. Also, like the central like character was a film like person who was like. I'm guessing that's what she studied in school. I don't know.
I guess so.
But that was like a big part of what she was doing. Like her career-wise, she was like a PA on like some like
morning show,
talk show or something. Yeah, morning show. The host of which was Fraser Crane's dad from Frasier, which I thought was nice. Really funny. And he's like a total jackass. The movie could have been a really great like ensemble like. Hangout movie like Kicking and Screaming, but it just was not. It was a little too like studio pilled.
It was like, we were saying this after we watched this, and I think it's something that you said that like there's a cut out there somewhere that probably is a lot like more entertaining, a lot better. They
ended up choosing to focus on this love triangle that just like I just couldn't even be bothered to like really care about, and they just underused these other great characters that they had in Janine Garofalo, and like they kind of had a shallow like AIDS scare thing with her, or HIV scare thing with her. I don't even know what was going on with the other guy. Like, he was just there.
He was just kind of there.
Ethan Hawke was like cool and aloof, and him and Winona Ryder had been best friends for like years and years, and then they were both dating other people, but then they actually love each other, and it's just like that took up way too much time.
The love triangle definitely like is symbolic of like the two sides of like her life, you know, one sticking to like your roots and like, you know, like wanting to like, you know, value like art and culture and all this like, you know, genuine stuff over like money and career.
Literally just like money, status, like because Ben Stiller is kind of like a high up like
he's like a
studio
yuppie,
person or like but he's young and successful and in the industry that she wants to be in, whereas Ethan Hawke like has his little band and is a writer, but I think he ends up doing journalism or something, like he's doing something else in the movie at some point, and I don't know, like I said, just like too cool and aloof for Ben Stiller's character.
Yeah, the circle of friends was like, and that's why I wish that it was a lot more about them, because it would like scratched like a very particular itch that it like combined like a lot of things that I loved about like Slacker and Kicking and Screaming, like these like really dingy like kind of like just like burnout types that are just kind of like not really that motivated for anything.
Yeah, Janine Garofalo's like the manager at a Gap. Yeah, you know, it's like she works her way up to manager. She does something, and whereas Winona Ryder's character gets fired from her job, and then she like is just a bum. Yeah, she just like bums around. Does like eventually develops like super like crazy depression. Doesn't leave the couch for like weeks at a time. You know. And then you know their other friend, again, I don't know what his deal was. Literally can't even remember his name. Don't remember who played him. Like, who was it?
And then Ethan Hawke, like you said, has this band, and he's like, oh yeah, you know, I value like art and stuff. For art. Yeah, he's just a big like dipshit. And the whole time Winona's trying to make a documentary, and which is cute. Like there's you get the camcorder footage and stuff, which is also very our group. Like we always have lots of cameras around and stuff. But so, and like the Ben Stiller character who she is romantically involved with ends up like trying to help her like get it on the air, but it gets like massively butchered. And I feel like it was like a perfect metaphor for like what happened to this movie, where it could have like been really like profound. But then like they had like, no, you need to make this more commercially appealing and not just about the angst of these like college graduates. So like make it about like love or something, and that's what they did, and that's why I've been saying like I feel like there's a different cut of this movie that is way better. Like at some point have like the movie Morrison from this like ensemble coming of age movie to a love triangle romance, and I'm like, that's fine, but like I feel like it could have been something a lot better and more profound, and more like unique, you know. But nevertheless, like it was fun. It was a fun watch. It was a fun watch, and I don't think it didn't like strike as close to home as like the first two movies that we were talking about, but it's definitely like one of the like very like overt like post college movies, because the first scene is them graduating, like it is in Kicking and Screaming. It's literally graduating with the footage which is. Like I'm saying, like I'm like that's very much like Kasdan had his camcorder graduation. He's literally making a little video like with clips from us all living together and graduation like time. So like that was nice. It was fun. It was like it reminded me of us. Could have been better though. No. And we'll be remiss not to mention the granddaddy of all the graduate. The graduate. Excuse me. Something in my throat. The Graduate. A classic. Truly. One of the most important films in Hollywood. Genuinely. That's one that I didn't have to watch in college or after college to appreciate. I watched it for the first time in high school and was like, yeah, this fucks. I think... Soundtrack, amazing. I watched it... The last time I watched it a couple times, like 2 or 3 times, but the last time I watched it was actually during the summer of COVID. And it, even though I wasn't graduating soon or anything like that, I think even the circumstance of just like kind of like being aimless and not knowing what's coming next with like, you know, the pandemic and being like shut in all the time. Yeah. It was like it felt very like I was trapped in like a cycle, just like Dustin Hoffman was. And also like functions on a almost like a political level too. And then like it's like in the middle of Vietnam, you know, this generation of young people doesn't really know what to do. It's like, oh well, like what's going on now? I don't. Yeah. I feel like there's like not much there for me. In a post-COVID world, it's like that's the thing that it has a shadow kind of over us. And like is affecting our daily lives in ways that we don't even think about or even know sometimes. Like it changed the world around us like almost instantaneously. Igor is here. What are you doing? What if you came on the podcast? Want cameo? Yeah. No, he can't be bothered. Away. Yeah. I've got one word for you. Plastics. Or is it just plastic? It's plastics. Yeah. Okay, here's a treat, just so you know I have good intentions. Say hi. We were able to get him to talk into there one time. Were we? Me and Kasdan did. Oh. Anyway, that's Igor. Igor Chek. Shout out to Igor. My biggest fan. Yeah. Day one. We're his day ones.
Yeah, he literally just turned 1, so actually he doesn't know what's
really?
going on. He turned 1 at the end of April. Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's my little guy.
Oh, dude, it's Scratchy's birthday.
It's Scratchy's birthday.
Shout out to Scratchy, my sister's cat.
You go, girl.
How old is she right now? 15.
Getting up there.
Clawed her way back from the clutches of demise.
Actually,
literally,
like she was on the brink.
She was like super underweight. She was like 4 pounds or some shit. Now she's like.
I'm sorry. I was just like, damn, like she did that though.
No,
She survived. She's a fucking survivor.
No, literally, she was like a year ago. Me and my sister were like, no, she's probably not going to survive the summer. And then like, I don't know. Out of nowhere, out of spite, my sister likes to say, literally, like, my sister was, actually, yeah. My sister said that she told her, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't share the story, but like, I don't know, it's a sweet story though, something to tell it. Okay. She said, she was like, Scratchy was, at some point very, very, very frail, very weak, and my sister just like was petting her. She's like, if you want to go, you can go. It's okay. You've done well. And then from that point on, she's just been like, fuck you, I'm not doing that shit. And then just like,
what'd you say?
Just got built as fuck. She's like 6.5 pounds, something like that now, 7 pounds.
Her miraculous like recovery. I love that. So The Graduate. A very early role for Dustin Hoffman, and he blew us all out of the water.
Yeah, how old was he?
He was relatively like unknown, which is why they cast him for that role. I learned that in a class I took.
I didn't know that.
Because there was somebody else. I'm not gonna remember all the details. They were looking at other people, but they ended up wanting to go with somebody who was relatively unknown, so he could be more of an everyman. Like I'm not watching Brad Pitt be desolate because he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm like I'm watching that's just a guy.
It's just a dude.
And he's a really awkward guy.
I was like, when I first watched him, I was like, this is hilarious because he's so fucking awkward.
He's so awkward. It's like painfully awkward.
And like the first scene where like Mrs. Robinson like tries to seduce him, and she like walks in on him like naked or something like that, and it like flashes to like different parts of her body where he's like trying not to look. He's just going like, oh god, oh jeez. It's so fucking funny.
And that like people asking you, well, what are you doing? And like, what are your plans? And literally, and he's just like, I'm like, yeah, I felt that, brother.
Dude, yeah, for the longest time, like whenever I'd like meet people at a party or like or like my relatives or something like that, they'd be like, oh, so what do you want to do with your degree? I'm like, anything. I don't know what I want to do with my degree, but I'd rather be anywhere else right now than answer this question. I'd rather be set on fire.
Oh my god, I don't know if I'll keep this in, but at the Moody graduation, I was sitting with Kasdan, my boyfriend's family, and his mom turned to me and was like, so when are you guys getting married? And I literally wanted to be anywhere but there. I love her so much. Love you, Colleen. Love you so much. But
that's
like,
such a
I was just like, I have never been more uncomfortable. My fight or flight has been triggered, and I want to fly away right now. Like, how can I get out of here? Like, it was really, really uncomfortable. I just dodged it. Like, I don't know. Yeah, have you talked about it? Yeah, well, yeah. That's that's for later us to think about.
Rough.
Yeah, I didn't love that. Anyway. The Graduate. Our lives have not been nearly as complicated as his, and I don't think they will be. Does she look anything like Anne Bancroft?
No, definitely not. I'm looking at Anne Bancroft right now, and I'm like, she does not look like Anne Bancroft.
Mel Brooks's wife, by the way.
Oh, is that true?
Isn't that odd? That's like
I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm like, isn't that kind of funny? I just like wouldn't expect her to be married to a short, funny man who's kind of bald. Like, I don't know.
That is awesome. Yo, score one for short, funny guys. We can bag hotties like Anne Bancroft.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that movie is great.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Mike Nichols is a king.
I don't know what like we can actually like say about it that like it hasn't been said before. Because it's just like we said, one of the most important movies in like American history, honestly.
So 60s it hurts.
But
like in the best way possible.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, yeah, the ending is just so fantastic. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this like impulsive thing and break apart this wedding, and we're both gonna like do this thing because we're both kind of confused and lost.
We're gonna be so happy.
Then Sound of Silence, please.
Yeah. So any other honorable mentions? Oh, I was going to talk about Girls, which we've been watching a lot in the house.
I will also put that down. Girls is a good one. Probably it's like contemporary. The first season at least is pretty contemporary with Frances Ha.
Yeah. And the first episode, it literally starts with Hannah she's like 2 years out of graduation, and her parents like cut her off.
Yeah. It was
episode
the opening
1.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one's like Good. A lot of anxiety about that with like, postgraduates. Like, oh, am I going to be able to like pay for myself to live? Am I going to have to move back with my parents? Am I going to have to like do all this stuff,
Having the friends that have a stable career trajectory and the ones who don't know what they're doing yet and the one that's still in college, Shoshana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good group dynamic.
Good group.
Going on there.
And then the heroin addict. Spoilers.
Yeah, not until later.
What else do we got? Honorable mentions? I don't know, like just the basic shit, but not basic, but like things like Friends and How I Met Your Mother that like kind of like depict like parts of like early adulthood, but like, and I probably mentioned this earlier, but like serve as like the touchstones of that kind of stuff. But like they depart from reality in a lot of ways, just to for the sake of sitcom, comedy and that kind of thing.
What if even though they're struggling and don't know what they're doing career-wise and are changing careers constantly, what if they live in this really big, expensive apartment and have no trouble paying for it?
There you go. That's good.
Right?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. No, Girls is good. I want to talk a little bit more about Girls, just because that's been like being cycled through, and like I started watching it like. Well, I watched a little bit when you were watching it.
Yeah, too, I watched it earlier this year.
In the winters and whatever. And then last year, whatever, yeah. And I was like, I missed out on like every other episode or whatever, something like that. So I was like, I'm gonna go through and watch it like myself. And then Parker started watching it with me, and then Parker just took off and like lapped me.
Circles around you.
And I was like, I can't compete. He's like on like season 5 or 6 now, and I'm like barely starting season 3. I'm like, no, I'll get there when I get there. But yeah, I know Girls is like a pretty like, I think a pretty like honest depiction of young adulthood.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, not that my experiences match up there, because I'm honest.
Same.
I don't think anyone I know is quite as a fuck up as they are.
They are so chaotic.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not. No one I know is like that. And also I'm not, a woman, but
that too.
No. Ray is my hero.
Ray's so funny. I actually love Ray. He's one of the
Ray's
best
like
characters.
my favorite character. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know he's like the king fuck up, king burnout, but like he's awesome.
He's awesome.
So funny.
He's so funny.
Okay. Anything else that you want to shout out?
Because I was gonna say, like, before coming to college, and like, I mean, I had seen like The Graduate and stuff, but like, cinematic depictions of college, or like, I feel like a very classic one is Animal House, which is very like frat culture pilled, but and it's a very fun movie. You should watch it at some point if you want a stupid laugh.
Yeah.
But these movies that we talked about, I think, are much more real, not reality bites, even though it has reality in the title.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Even so, it was like, it's a little bit off the beaten path of like experiences, and like, I mean, whatever, even just it being set in Texas too. So, I don't know. Guess we'll figure out what we're doing next.
Yeah, we're gonna take this time on a hiatus and figure out what we're doing next, and then come back and have no idea, because that's how these things go.
So, check us out on Instagram at Mankheads Podcast and at Mankheads. We're working, one of our things that we're working on is Subletter, a show, and we just finished filming the pilot, so you should check out at Subletter Show on Instagram for more content there. Mankheads on YouTube. Rate us, like us, follow us on Spotify. That would help us out immensely.
On Spotify, if you could give us 5 stars.
That would be nice. It could be nice.
If you're gonna give us a rating, make sure it's 5 stars. If it's nothing, if you're gonna do anything else, don't rate us, because we're insecure.
Yeah. And who hurt this Noah Baumbach guy? I just want to know.
His parents.
Some woman named Jane. His parents.
Some woman named Jane. Yeah. Fuck you, Jane. As he's typing like furiously away. Fuck you, Jane.
Anyway, just so you know, if you're a recent graduate. And I'm still considering myself a recent graduate, because it feels like I just graduated, and a year out's not that far out. You're not alone. It's difficult. It's difficult to figure out how to grow up and like be a person and be yourself. So
yeah, part of me feels like I'll never be able to get that point, and then at some point I'll just be sitting around, maybe like with like a baby in my arms, my kid, and be like, oh, I guess I'm here.
How did I get here?
Yeah.
I'm worried because it's like just a thing about me in my life is that I just feel like I'm like never satisfied.
Oh, yeah.
Never content. And that's like literally all I want is like a best baseline of like contentedness. And that's hard to reach. It really is. It's something you actually have to work for very hard.
Yeah.
So, you know, life is life.
Life is life.
We just graduated. Ish.
Mankheads podcast. Forever. I don't know.
You know, have a good summer. We'll be back in the fall probably.
Probably.
Yeah. So, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And don't go to Prague.
Don't go to Prague. And don't go to Berlin. It's like not even that cool.
It's not that cool. It's fine.
It's like fine.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.